glad you can join me today. So happy that you're here. We're going to go see Lady Webb, and there's several things that revolve around her. We're also going to go to the archives, see if we're important enough yet to deal with, to bring Adair's quest forward. Okay? And we will see how that goes. Woohoo! All of a sudden, my cursor is caught in the OBS. That was weird. So, as I said, it would be
healthier than before.
It would be great if I could get some feedback on the volume. I am just grateful to be able to tab out of this game and turn these down. The Baldur's Gate one is really hard because I can't tab out.
Light, flame, and sound.
And as I've said, we won't be using OBS anymore for the Baldur's Gate one. Baldur's Gate 2 is what we're streaming, because it's just giving me too many problems and it puts people off. And I understand that. It's not my fault, but I do get it. So, let's go. Why are we? Nobody knows. We don't even know why we're sneaking around. Sagamol. Da fragt man sich, ob wir noch ganz dicht sind. Let's go meet that governor, or that Warren. Governor. There's a Warren we're supposed to meet. Let's meet him first. We were supposed to meet him in the tavern. We went all the way to our stronghold so that we could be told to come back here. He quelled the uprising. What does that mean? He quelled the uprising. But you are regarded as a local hero. Okay. Problem solved. He finishes escorting the supplicant. Excellent. Excellent. That means things are going rather well. To head, we had something down here going. But it wasn't supposed to take that long. 2 hours. Sounds about right. Okay. And for those of you who are interested, the past broadcasts of this game look better in my YouTube channel because I am uploading them directly from my computer. Sadly, the Twitch studio is not saving the videos to my desktop like they're supposed to. And yes, I checked, everything is set up properly. It's just not doing it. So I have to upload those into the YouTube, and the quality is absolutely
Divine Demon Dragon. Welcome to my channel.
Eddie, welcome to my channel. I'm not seeing you in there yet, but we'll give it a minute or two. Maybe it'll still be something. That feller said he wanted to meet us here. Now we've got to find him. Be stealing again. He's going to be a soul. And I do actually like to read these when I'm doing this myself. Actors, merchants. Painting depicts Glenfathen ruins, and the canvas bears the rough strokes of a talented amateur. Iberel's Well, 2665. Wunderbar, darling, einfach, fabelhaft. Where is this filler? A woman sits by herself, spinning something on the table in front of her and watching it with furious intensity. This one. It's about the size of a coin, and it wobbles over a crack in the wood with a metallic rattle. She snatches it up with one hand and slams a half-empty cup down on the table with the other. This is not a good time. Oh, you look like you could use another drink. Seems like a good response, doesn't it? Oh, shit. What happened? Oh, fuck. Okay, just a second. I have to change the settings in here. I put some hotkeys in, and I quite stupidly put them in as numbers. And now it won't let me take them out. Crap. So let me just put something else in there for the moment, because we need the numbers. I forgot we need the numbers for the dialogues in this thing. So I will just assign other keys to it for the moment and screw around with that later. Keys that we are not necessarily going to need, although we might need the J. Is that all? Is that all? Is that all? Yes, it is. Sorry, I didn't think ahead. That was kind of stupid of me. Okay. Hopefully it didn't interrupt it and I don't have to put it up in two pieces. I'll get there. She takes a long drink from her glass, just trying to calm down and trying to talk myself out of something foolish. Something foolish? I totally forgot about that. Kanara, she says nothing for a few moments, as if hoping you'll leave. At last, Kenra looks up at you, and lamplight falls across her face. A purpling bruise is blossoming along her cheekbone. There's something I need to give my fiancé, Pernisk. Only he doesn't seem to go anywhere without his new friends, and they're not exactly pleasant company. Tell me about these new friends. They come into our house with their dead eyes and their black teeth. I'm not a fool. I know what that means. Pernisk makes me leave when they show up, but it's obvious what they come to do. Last time they came, I told them to get out. Let them have their fun out somewhere in the gift, but not under my roof. She scowls and then winces. Her fingertips gently probe her bruise. Svef changes you, I guess. That's a drug in this game. The Pernisk I knew wouldn't have squashed a spider. I never thought he'd... She trails off, still feeling the swollen, discolored flesh. Okay, but if this is number 2, let's pick that. But if Svef makes people calm and listless, it shouldn't make them violent. I don't really know. Seemed better than believing he's always been that way. Well, maybe I can go talk to him for you. Again, this is not an evil party. This is a true neutral party that we're playing. Her hand rests on the table and she clenches it into a white-knuckled fist. There's nothing more to say to him. We're finished. I just want to give him this back. I just want to give this back to him and have a clean break. She opens her hand and a ring clatters onto the table. It was his grandmother's. Even after this, I don't have the heart to sell it off. Well, that would be wrong. But if I go back there myself, I know what'll happen. I'll lose my temper and I'll probably wind up with another one of these. She points to her bruise. Shouldn't he have one if she loses her temper? But I've heard you're trustworthy. If you give this back to him, he'll know we're done. Okay, so that honesty check is our reputation. We have a reputation of honesty that meets at least level 2. Okay, I'll take this ring to Pernisk then. I have to have at least an aggression of 2 for this as well. She looks at you and nods. The house is just north of here. Just, please don't hurt him. You seem like the forceful sort, but I don't want anyone getting hurt again over this. That goes for Pernisk, or me, or me. Ooh, tea. But I am still not seeing the feller that we're supposed to meet here. So, not press the Q button to quick save. He should be a soul as well. Maybe he's upstairs. Okay, let's go on upstairs real quick and see if we can find... Because we were supposed to meet him... I thought we were supposed to meet him here at the pub in Copper Lane. We've already checked the back rooms. Well, we haven't been where all those crazy dancers are and stuff. His name is Warren with an I. That's Lady Webb, okay. We're going to go see her as well. It's all about the lead and key acolyte. Another messenger from the Ducal Palace has arrived in Caed Nua. Chancellor Warren said he'd send another messenger if anything new regarding my disputed ownership of Caed Nua came up. Meet Brackenbury. Oh, Sagamol.
Teenwin. Welcome to my channel.
Same. Hi, welcome. Welcome to my stream. We're streaming by candlelight this evening. I'm a strange person, in case you hadn't heard. So I want to go take care. We'll go take care of that filler, but we have some other things we need to take care of first, like meeting Lady Webb, going to the archives, meeting the Chancellor, and then we can go talk to that filler. And this game does have a speed up button on it. Woohoo! So Brackenbury's where we're supposed to meet that one feller. Let's go there. Eventually we'll have to go to the first fires. Brackenbury's where we can meet Lady Webb as well. Actually, maybe when we're done here, we'll be an even more important person in the Charred Barrel. Presumably that is a public house, not a reference to an actual barrel. There we go. Doop. It's the more obvious one, isn't it? And in we go. There he is. Lady Colonia, what brings you to Brackenbury? What the devil? You sent a missive. No, I didn't. Oops. I received a missive from you. The Chancellor sets down his mug of ale and looks at you quizzically. As far as I know, nothing has changed regarding your rightful possession of Caed Nua. We've been tricked. You realize that the Charred Barrel has gone quiet and turn to see the last of the patrons quickly disappear through the front door. A moment later, a group of armed men and women stride into the tavern. So people, in essence. Oh dear. The Chancellor quickly ducks behind the table. There's 6 of them and 6 of us, so that seems fair enough. The woman leading the armed group lowers her cowl with one hand while keeping the other on a pistol tucked into her belt. You immediately recognize Gathbin's captain. Now that the sheep have been herded from their pen, you and I can conduct our business, unfortunate as it may be. I remember you. You were with Lord Gathbin at the palace. And you, she grins, the whole essence of a god thing tends to be easily remembered. I must say, you wear it well. Oh, thank you very much. So, what do you want? Oh, I think you know. Lord Gathbin has ordered your death. She forces a frown, a shame really. I admire your exploits, even if only half of them are true. Sadly, I have my orders. Gathbin will lose. You should work for me. The man is a swine, albeit noble. A noble, wealthy swine. Her lip curls and in feigned disgust. Were I to do it again, I doubt I'd have taken in with him, but what's done is done, and Lord Gathman is as ruthless as he is arrogant. He'll go to great lengths to avenge a betrayal. What could you offer me to make me consider such a risk? Which one do you think is most likely to tempt her? That's the question. Because I've got 2,500 to lay on the table. I've got no problem with that. Or do I want to offer her number one? Let's offer her number one first. Tempting, but your honor is no match for Gathbin's wrath. Let's get on with this shit. And I lost the sound, which doesn't bode well. Oh, okay, it's just paused. Thought my computer was crashing. No! OT. I am incredibly relieved. Let's see who's going to come after us first. Oh, bugger me. You two off over here. You off over here. What the devil are they doing up front? Oh. Okay. It's at least something.
Wisebot.
Trip the first person
Said.
we can.
1 viewers, plus 1. Alarm clock
there were
21
2 a
minutes
second
and
ago.
33 seconds.
Well, that's sad. But that's how it is nowadays. Do. Oh, hey. I was doing that to you. You're a cheater. So I guess someone decided I wasn't to their taste. Now it happens. Not much we can do about that. So as soon as he stands back up, we're going to knock this jerk off down. That doesn't, it might just be me, but it doesn't seem like it really did much. And she's down. No, I can't get her and she's down. Really just does not seem to be doing a lot of, oh, no. No. Let's do this one because at least we can control where it's going and it's not going right above us. See if we can't capture all of them in with that. That harming anything in its sight is what really is disturbing. I can't see the percents because of... Doesn't look like the percentages are very good, what I can see of them, however. So, of course, percentages there are not that great either. It's probably going to be my best bet, however. Durance's spell is taking forever, isn't it? Bugger me. These percentages are really crappy. I mean, it's not the game's fault. It's just the way it is, so... That looks pretty good. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I guess that's just it's kind of a permanent thing that he's focusing on, I'm assuming. You're seriously telling me that nobody here is badly injured? Well, why are they fighting two different people? I mean, he can fight two at once. I don't care. It's just a mystery to me. At least kill her. That's at least something, isn't it? Trying to decide what would be good. That would be good. If we could kill them, that would be excellent. We don't need to think that we're going to get out of this with very many spells. Which doesn't need to be the case either, as long as we live to tell about it. Oh, nice. Nice. Bring that on, babe. Bring that on. Okay, so what else does he have to offer here? How much does he have? Too much. He has way too much health. So let's see if we can get these guys next. Keep healing him. Nobody cares. I guess I didn't tell it to do anything, so it's just standing around. Staring into empty air. Okay, come on, come on. You try to knock him down. And you. That's not going to happen. Okay. This is way too dangerous. 26% chance of success, 70% chance, 46% chance. So we'll do that. And bugger me.
Not getting through me.
Just trying to get rid of that one guy, you know? He is almost entirely out of spells. He's not that far away either. We've already cast this on this.
Not getting through me.
You know?
Hey.
I don't know. It looks to me like they're not hitting the broadside of the proverbial barn. I could be desperately mistaken about that. The guy keeps healing himself.
Leave it. You're not getting through me.
We are running out of spells.
You're not.
What's supposed to happen?
Need some. Paranthus! Leave it to leave it. Paranthus!
Okay. Now we're finally starting to get somewhere. Okay. Let's see. Keep saying okay. Sorry. It's an American thing. I think y'all know that though. So. Next problem to solve. This one here.
Leave it.
How the hell does he reload that thing? And we're all standing here hacking at him. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. That's pulling out every freaking stop, I'm telling you what. You have almost no spells left. Well, that was unexpected. Warren emerges from beneath his table and smooths the rumpled sleeves of his robe. It does make the strange reports I've heard from the grasp make more sense in context, however. Go on. Earl Batamar decided to keep an eye on Lord Gathbin's activities. Gathbin has been hiring a lot of men recently, but for what purpose we can't say. I'd advise you to take extra precautions at Caed Nua. He may be attempting to place spies or saboteurs within your walls. Be wary, Kalinia. I don't think you've seen Lord Gathbin's endgame yet. He swallows the rest of his ale and gives you a curt nod before heading for the door. I wasn't expecting a sort of Spanish Inquisition here. Oh, Lord have mercy. So, a lot of carnage. Oh. Some fine stuff here, right? Oh, shit. Why does it do that? You have the barrel, you have the damn chest selected, and all of a sudden, your person is selected, and I don't know why this bloody, stinking fucking game does that. Yes, I'm a cursor. I have a book called, what's it called? Manners. Good manners for people who say fuck. Something like that. Oh, goodness. So, all sorts of just junk here. Because that happens. I was filling one person's inventory, but it moves on to the next. Ooh, tea. But y'all know me, I get all head up. Don't take a hell of a lot either. Oh, this is that one. Don't know if we can get a room here. Let's go see, because we can sure use one. I can tell you that.
Hail and well met.
Who are you? Show me your menu. Let me see your rooms. What you got here? Intelligence and will, or perception and stealth? I imagine we're going to need that more. See, money is no object for us, really. Okay, so now we can, make further upgrades here. As the lab, the hearth, the pool, the woodland trails. That gives us extra security. The warden's lodge is what I would say we should go for. So that'll be finished in 2 days. Really, I'm not sure how this has happened because usually I'm strapped for cash in this game. Because you're constantly making upgrades. And you've seen they've destroyed a couple parts of our keep a couple times and we've had to rebuild. So...
Next time we get the chance, I'm buying you a pint. That means a lot, Adair. Oh, do you want one too? Sorry, I meant for Isselmere. I'll get you one too.
Before we go meet Lady Webb, let's go back to the archives and see if we can get further with Adair's quest. I can't help it, I really like him. So, by the way, Fridays, we will stream extra late because I don't have to get up Saturday morning. Woohoo! Woohoo! Okay, come on, guys. What? What the hell are these guys? Assassins? You look like a short shit to me.
Hey.
Well, now there are an awful lot of them, aren't there? That looks like a spell slinger. And that one's got a crossbow. Shouldn't have put him in that form to begin with, I guess. We have no idea what effect it's going to have, so we'll just do it. Okay, everyone is dazed except him.
Lava.
Luckily, that only catches our enemies. Oh, nice. So beautiful. They're chained up again. Need to keep those games for another time, folks. It's hard to see, and you can't change the angle on this game.
Leave it to me.
Did you hear that? That is what people tend to say when beasts kill them. Just be honest about it. Not sure how our reputation's gonna fare when we're fighting in the street. A bunch of hidden figures. You better run is what you ought to do. You can try to knock somebody down, but they ain't gonna do a whole heck of a lot of good. Even if you succeed. There's too many of us. There's 12 of us against one. There's 12 of us, I'm joking. Obviously there's only 7 of us. Just looks like there's 12 of us sometimes. Oh, yeah, and that's going to him. Baby. Back to the box. Tattered notes. And back to the box. Oh, but there were 2 spell slingers. I thought there was only one. Back to the box. Okay, let's read our notes. Scrolled note written on this scrap of parchment is a concise but detailed description of you, including your name, your distinguishing features, and everyone you're known to have associated with in your brief time in Direwood. That's Lord Raderick as well, isn't it? Presumably, yep, these are all the same thing. We have okay, that can be sold, and that can be sold. Wow, what a shitty grimoire. What kind of a crappy selection. And we just slept.
All right, then.
That's not going to stop us, but now then it could get a lot uglier. You do not get too arrogant. Just a sec. Okay, so who's she? We need to go back up to the archives and see if we can. Oh, bugger me. Be granted access now.
Hail, traveler.
Same dialogue as before. I am established. I really thought that we would be, faintly good. But we are an ally. Ally, friend, hero, ally, troublemaker. Can't please all the people all the time, can you? Just saying. Okay. So what's the quickest way out of this joint? This one, I would say. Back to Brackenbury and Lady Webb. We said we were going to meet Lady Webb. We will meet Lady Webb. So, let me check something too. Oh, fucking A. Pardon me, but every time you want to open an app to use it, it's like, oh, the app has an update to it. So, like, do you, like, want to update it now? Because, like, we know you're going to use it, but, like, you know, you should update it now because we did something completely fucking worthless. But we really need you to update the app anyhow. And one of these people gets sick and tired of them changing things just to change things because I just don't get bored enough with myself. As you near the apparition, you are overcome suddenly by a powerful anxiety that sits like a stone in your stomach. The feeling is not quite real, the recollection of an emotion rather than the emotion itself. It wrenches your insides nevertheless. The apparition's brow is tensed, a look of concern plain across its face. Just a second. Fucking dickweeds. I'm sorry, but that's the truth of it. There are two you in there, but it only shows one. The other missionaries
say you have been neglectful of your duties.
So, they lie.
They speak out of concern for you. Now tell me, is there something to their concerns?
The pain in your stomach deepens and you feel for a moment as though you are about to be sick. Your mouth has gone dry. Forgive me, Eminence. I wish to leave the order. The man folds his fingers together and presses them to his mouth thoughtfully.
You have been an apt student, and your convictions have inspired those around you. May I ask what has changed to make you feel this way?
So I'm reading my choices here. Our choices, by the way, are number one, the people we intended to convert. They committed unspeakable acts, sacrifices, mutilations. Number two, my family has not taken my new faith well. They no longer speak to me. Number three, I've done something unforgivable. Or number four, we were attacked on my last mission. So let's pick number one. They committed unspeakable acts, sacrifices, mutilations. The apparition exhales slowly, and its lips press together. A sympathetic rapport in its eyes. It places its hands on your shoulder. Ugh. I hate when people do that.
These are the ways of the heathen world.
Surely the gods would do better to destroy us all and start anew.
Perhaps they would. It may come to that one day. This is why we must not fail. The heathens are beyond the gods' reach. They do not know better. We are tasked with delivering them to the gods, so that the gods may heal their souls.
Is such a thing possible?
I have seen it with my own eyes. You will see it too, if you choose to remain. There is no greater calling than the one we have chosen. Neither words, nor wealth, nor battle will end this suffering. Only the gods. Will you give them that chance?
I love it when someone else says, just like I do, either and neither, not either and neither. The knot in your stomach seems to loosen all at once, and the anxiety is replaced with something else entirely, something warm and soothing. And it is something you know you can never repay. As the vision fades, you start to become cognizant of the many odd looks aimed in your direction. Your last response echoes in your mind. I will. Okay.
Good day to you.
Oh, a courier. Excuse me, but I've been looking for you. You're the one who lifted the curse on Heritage Hill. Guilty as charged. My lady, who wishes to remain anonymous, has entrusted me with bringing you this pistol. It belonged to a dear friend of hers who was lost to that curse. Whoa, what a boon. For your part in reclaiming Heritage Hill, my lady wishes you to have it. Here, may it serve you well in battle. Thank you. We don't want to be ungrateful gits, do we? This is not an evil party. We play evil parties in the morning. This one is not. You are quite welcome. You have gained an item. St. Garam's Spark has been added to our inventory. Now I must be off. Farewell. Okay, let's take a look. Ooh, party. Very interesting. We don't have anyone in our party right at the moment who will use the pistol, but kind of uses a pistol when we get him back in our party, especially for the paths. Okay, so she has summoned us. Presumably, we will be welcomed this time. Lady Webb will see you now. Aren't we special? This woman clutches a thick stack of parchment with spindly, wrinkled fingers, their flesh stretched thin to near translucence with extreme age, a gossamer veil over pale blue veins. Ink splotches and candle burns dot and stripe her hands like a quilt patterned after some great indescribable truth. She does not look up from her reading.
So, the messenger conveyed my summons. A miracle that would make the reincarnation of Aethys look like a child's cantrip, surely. It doesn't draw the most inspired minds, messaging. They failed me so many times of late, I nearly sent a cipher after you instead. So this is the Watcher who took over Caed Nua. Oh, don't look so surprised. It isn't an attractive expression. I wouldn't be where I am for long if I let details like that escape me.
Point taken.
Snuff
This is exactly
punk.
what I would picture
Welcome to my
Elos's
channel.
mother to be like, had he...
Since then, as I understand it, you entered a quarantine district that is absolutely off limits to all civilians and somehow managed to walk back out with your life. What could possibly have been on your mind to make you do such a thing?
I'm investigating a strange group.
Strange does not begin to describe them.
I figured she'd
The
know.
practices of the Leaden Key defy all reason.
She reminds me more of my own grandmother.
You're not the only one with an interest in their recent activities. I've lost 4 ciphers this year alone trying to get someone inside their ranks. As it is, we only have our suspicions about who is in the group and what they intend, which I suppose means we have much in common with them. I asked you here because I wanted to know what your interest was in all of this. I thought perhaps we might help each other. Why are you looking for the Leaden Key?
It's time to be honest. The woman's going to know anyhow. So here are our choices. Number 1, one of their members caused my soul to awaken. I need him to reverse it. Number 2, I ran across a man in one of the ruins. It's important that I find him again. Or number 3, I can lie to her and say I was hired to investigate them. I'm going to pick number 1. This is not a woman to whom I wish to lie. Let us simply, or to prevaricate. She closes her eyes and the lids flicker. Then her face goes still and her mouth parts little more than a sliver, and her hand briefly drops open, spilling some of her parchment to the ground. The papers wafting around her legs like the leaves of a dying tree. Her fleshy eyelids peel back, and her gaze is immediately upon you.
The gods are cruel, I'm afraid. The man you seek is Thaos Ix Arcanon, Grand Master of the Leaden Key. One of the most elusive and dangerous men Aora has ever known.
What can you tell me about Thaos?
More than most, though very few would know so much as his name. And there is no way of knowing how much of what I've read is true. The Leaden Key dates back more than 2,000 years. If rumors are to be believed, Thaos was the one who created it.
2,000 years?
What scraps of evidence
How's that
exist
possible?
suggest that he has died many times, only to be reborn each time exactly the same man. Awakened during adolescence, with all the knowledge and experience of all his lifetimes.
It's an Assassin's Creed
plots
game.
he orchestrates, sometimes take hundreds of years to bear fruit. Needless to say, this is not the natural order of things. But he is said to be one of Woodica's favored.
Oh,
And that
Woodica.
old bat was never one to let rules get in the way of favoritism.
Oh, Woodica.
That may also explain another supposed gift of his. His body is no boundary to his soul.
I beg your pardon?
And he is known to take possession of others, if their souls are weak enough. Often it is for elaborate deceptions, but sometimes he simply forces them to kill themselves. He is not known for his generous supply of pity.
I'm not interested in that.
He is also not one to
strange
show
power,
himself
however.
in any but their most critical matters. If he has directly involved himself in
Mark
whatever
Zink.
the group plots
Welcome
now,
to my channel.
it may be your only
Hi, Mark.
chance to find him. And once you do find him, if you can find him, I would not hold my hopes too high if I were you. He is a driven, single-minded man. He will not have the slightest concern for your problems.
No, I hadn't thought he would. Oh, by the way, thinking of that, if y'all like my content, my rabbit ears, my pretty smile, my goofy laugh, follow me. You can get the notifications, turn them on, you see when I come online. Would love to have you with me, you know that. So, let's see. Let's not ask stupid questions. Number 2 is a stupid question. Number 4 is a wee bit of a stupid question. She may or may not tell us something crucial
The
here.
same way I come by all my knowledge.
she's not
Exhaustive
going to.
research, spying, bribery, perhaps some less savory measures. Whatever the knowledge demands, I pay in full. There is nothing of greater value. Unfortunately, with Thaos, there is also nothing more scarce. He has covered his tracks far too well. His manipulations of the course of history are lost to time now, though I believe they were many.
What else do you know about the leaden
Precious
key?
little, I'm afraid. You may know much of it already. No one member knows the identity of more than a handful of other members.
We did know
They are
that.
kept in the dark of missions they are not involved in,
We knew
or
that.
sometimes of those they are involved in.
We knew that as well.
They exist
They
to
only know
hide
their small
secrets
portion.
they themselves don't know. If you can imagine how gullible someone must be for that to appeal.
It is a wee bit strange, isn't it, to just have that kind of blind faith.
Despite that, they are very good at what they do, owing much to their founder, who will take matters into his own hands when necessary. And he does not fail.
I imagine. So what is it that you would like
Keep me
from me?
informed. The leaden key has been busy lately, and that is distressing news. I can only guess as to what they intend. You seem to have a knack for turning the stones they've crawled beneath. Keep turning them. Dunreed Row will not stop you. Whatever it is they're up to, figuring it out will be of great use to both of us. In your case, it will surely point you to Thaos. In return, I will share our knowledge with you as we learn it, and provide you with what assistance I can.
That is to say, whatever she feels like sharing with us. But she is a powerful ally. It would be folly to refuse, so number
If you
1.
find your trail has run cold, come to me with whatever you have. There is much I may be able to do for you.
There is something I can tell you about the Leaden Keys operations, is there?
Well, let's hear it.
The Anglithian Tower in Heritage Hill contains an ancient machine that can control the flow of souls. The Leaden Key activated it.
This is troubling. That civilization seems
camera
to
is
have
out of
known
focus
more about
again.
the mechanics of souls than anyone
Damn
since.
it, that was an expensive camera.
The leaden key was born in that period. It may be that Thaos has full knowledge of their technology.
Let me turn on some lights behind, maybe it'll catch it.
The applications of this machine you speak of. I don't want to think about it.
Okay. Let's see if that'll help the camera catch. Focus itself. That damn thing was expensive.
If we can learn more about their goals and methods, perhaps we can get the palace behind us. With Avar's support, we may be able to put a stop to this.
Okay, that's all. Do I have other questions?
Yes?
Oh. Is it me, or do all of these questions seem impertinent or irrelevant?
Try your best not to die out there.
Is there a Lord Webb? It is impertinent. It'll become pertinent later. I'm not going to ask her that now, though. Okay, so his athletics are a godsend to us. I have to keep those up. His survival, maybe his stealth. Fighter becomes fiercely determined to deflect all incoming blows, dramatically increasing all defenses for a short time. We could specialize him in a weapon. If we did, I think all swords, like long swords, everything like that, is considered a great weapon in this. So if we did, we would want to do that one. What is unbending? The fighter draws strength from his or her own indomitable spirit, or mine in this case, causing them to regenerate 50% of endurance lost from an attack. That's assuming that your enemies are doing a great deal of damage. So let's do ours. She is a barbarian, as you can see. Very fetching looking, that blue skin in her brown getup. Okay, primarily we have been keeping her survival up. Interesting. Okay. We do, however, need to keep these up. Let's do those. Her athletics and her stealth. Our abilities to sneak past people are only as good as the person who has the lowest stealth score, naturally, because they will be detected. So, Barbarian becomes able to charge with a reckless abandon, allowing him or her to ignore the movement stop of engagement. After killing an enemy, the Barbarian's recovery is waived, allowing them to attack again immediately. I think we'll take that. That seems quite good. It's passive. We don't have to worry about it. Okay. Durham. Durham has been our specialist in lore. I think we should keep it that way for the moment. Anyone else? How far off are they? Wow. I know for shits and grins. Let's ask her if there's a Lord Webb.
He believed in dying with dignity. He was old-fashioned that way, my husband. We saw the world very differently, he and I. But he was good to me while he lasted.
Okay, now tell me more about this place.
All the things there are to know in this world, and you ask me about work. Deerwood is a rebel country, Conflict is in its blood. If you think a few guards posted in our cities keep chaos at bay, you are very new to town indeed.
I'm not quite that naive.
We are Deerwood's cipher investigators, of course. But what we really are is its last barrier against anarchy. People are more at ease when they believe they are watched over by someone more enlightened than they are. It pacifies them. So that is the image we foster. And we do try to be enlightened for their sake. The knowledge we gather here is Deerwood's standing army in many ways. We learn what's vital and we act on it while Deerwood sleeps, blissfully unaware of the terrifying truths all around them. I wish I could tell people the things I know sometimes. But the truth is, I don't think many of them could bear it.
Okay, so now let's just ask, how did you come to be
Me?
here?
I started this place in a different time under a different duke. I impressed the duke with my research and my work ethic, and he became possessed of the notion that I would be ideal to lead a secret network of gifted investigators. I don't know how such an idea got into his head.
She winks. Okay, so that's it for the moment. Fairly well. Save so we don't have to redo that conversation. So I have forgotten how we can establish ourselves better. We're an ally. Which is better than friend, but not as good as hero, one presumes.
And this gash here is from when I woke up with a wolf pack trying to eat me.
There. Mauled by a bear 7 years ago.
Oh yeah, look here. And here. Once the bull had me properly hooked on its horns, things got worse.
Oh, there's a dude we need to visit in the sanitarium, isn't there? Pretty sure this is going to end ugly.
Hail, traveler.
You may have a member of the Leaden Key in your midst. Ethelmore groans, and the stone around him shudders. I could have done without hearing that today. Many have their intrusions been into our affairs. Of course, one can seldom be certain whether they've meddled or whether calamity has struck on its own, but a few of their less skilled infiltrators have been exposed from time to time. They're a perpetual nuisance. Once again, I am reminded of how envious I am of your gifts. I suspect they would be of some use in verifying one's identity. You are at odds with the Leaden Key as well, I take it? They're up to something and I need to determine what it is. Good answer. They're always up to something. Of that you may rest assured. If their plots have come to involve you, you have my sympathies. Do you have some idea of who this person might be? I wouldn't know until I've met them. Very well, in that case, I would recommend you speak first with our resident animancers. They have frequent interactions with both patients and colleagues. You will find them up here, and in their offices downstairs, you will report anything suspicious to me immediately. This is my only request. Okay, does anyone here know anything about awakenings? Why not? We have to lose. There's an animancer on the lower floor who came all the way from Revau to study them. That may be our person. Take the stairs down and look for Bella Saga. No, we already talked to her. Nah, she's the one who dealt with Izimir and Alof. Or Alof, however you want to say it. Tomato. Ooh, tea. So also, just a quick question. Probably not going to get an answer. I never seem to get answers. Do y'all enjoy streaming frequently with me, or do you all feel that it's too frequent? Is my question for you. Feel free to give me a whisper, or you can write it in the chat, or however you want to do it. But feedback would be really, really greatly appreciated. Okay, so this one's dead. This one we've already spoken to. It was killed by that thing in the chest. I was like, what? What? Durance, what? The edges of the cage are dented and scored with claw marks. There's something very inhumane going on in that room. Ripley.
How do you do?
A young Orlan woman traces her fingers along the spines of the books in front of her row by row. Her motions quick and skittish, like a bird's. She does not notice you until you are nearly upon her. Oh my! You startled me. Are you supposed to be in here? I'm investigating any suspicious activity in the sanitarium. Oh, I'm just Master Azo's assistant. He'd know more about that, but he's in the middle of busy with some patients. You won't be able to see him until he comes out from the patient ward. If there's nothing else, I need to get back to work. Is Azo busy with patients, or is he running some sort of experiment? I'm just an assistant. It's not my place to gossip. I'm sorry. And what do you do here? I mostly help Master Azo set up and clean his equipment. I also keep his office organized since he's too busy to do it himself. And how do I get into the patient ward? Only Master Azo has access. I guess Head Warden Ethelmore does too, but he's, a statue now. Okay, we don't need to talk to her. Well, let's go ahead. I'm looking for an expert on, and they all tell me the same thing, so yeah, we don't even need to bother with that. Oh, nice. Okay, now we've been using him as our resident thief, for lack of anybody else. Confusion is something he casts on himself frequently. What? What is this? This takes us a long time to cast it. Apparently summons a trio of powerful tentacles that cannot move, but can inflict crush and corrode damage and the stuck affliction on anyone they hit. I like it. Let's take it. Sold to the man in the purple hat. Okay, no. What color is this hat? Blue.
I'll see what I can do. The work of a moment.
Patient records. Well, I'll be doggone. I was playing Icewind Dale, the first one, earlier, and it's really annoying because when you hit the tab key, it doesn't highlight the things that you can interact with which you can interact, that is to say. Ripley, I require more copper rubbing for my next experiment. I do not requisition it from the sanitarium stores. I don't have time to deal with Head Warden's inevitable questions. Caed Azo. Northward patient record, Uskrim. Subject is a male approximately 17 years of age, admitted for episodes of catatonia followed by occasional violent outbursts. Initial analysis of soul reveals severe fragmentation and essence deficiency. Said deficiency all but eliminates the possibility of utilizing the subject.
Welcome to my channel.
Hi, welcome. The subject in present research. Well, he's off the hook. Northward patient record, Idleman, the Midnight Man. Subject is male, mid-20s, displays acute dissociation and paranoid delusional tendencies, causing anger and extreme violence. Dangers of working with the subject preclude possibility of further use in present research. He's out as well. Northward patient record, Graham. Subject is male, approximately early 30s. Powers of speech absent. Presumably as a result of the overfragmentation of his soul. As such, he is the ideal subject for present research. However, experimentation has caused severe pain and induced panic, and I have had to enlist the aid of the guards in transporting him for more recent procedures. Northward patient record, Batixa, the Pale Lady. Subject is female, mid-40s, awakened to a past life as a serial murderer, which now frequently emerges as the soul's dominant personality. Subject vacillates between violence and severe depression resulting from guilt of past deeds. Weak candidate for present research. I imagine he'd find us a pretty fitting candidate, don't you think? When we read his criteria, I wouldn't mind being better armed, so what if it makes the clients a little nervous? Let's go back up and talk to the head warden for a moment. We've got some concerns about this doctor and his treatments. So, maybe he'll give us the key that we need to get back into the patient ward. Then again, maybe... Is there anyone in here? This looks like field sketches of Ingwithian ruins and artifacts. How odd. This is a sanitarium, isn't it? Okay, it's one of those things. I'm not going to read these to you, as I've said, because they really do take quite a while. Oh. I thought she was someone we could actually talk to. Okay, let's go talk to him then.
How do you do?
I found records that Azo may be running some questionable experiments. Experiments? Caed Azo is in charge of patient welfare now. He's not authorized to run any more experiments. I am disappointed in Caed. I had hoped he would be the one to guide your inquiry. He'll be in his office or in the patient wards. I'm granting you immediate access so you can find him. No doubt you will wish to speak to him further on this matter, and I for one am curious as to what he might have to say. Tread carefully in the wards. There are a few dangerous cases. I would ask also that you do your best not to agitate the patients. They have enough troubles as it is. Yeah, being experimented on. So, as I said, this is not our evil party. Our evil party is streamed about 12 hours offset from this one. We stream it in the morning, Central European time, in Baldur's Gate 2. This is a true neutral party. Which means we need to keep the balance. Not always an easy task in life. Is there something else we can ask her, perchance? Nope. Okay. That was worth a try. So now, The door opens before we touch it. Revolting. This is where the sick are supposed to recover. I've seen animal pens more hospitable than this place. Have it. A curved spine twists this woman's posture forward, her greasy hair draped over her large eyes like vines. She smiles at you. You must be visiting someone. Then, noting your appearance, she adds, a friendly visit, I hope. So let's ask her if any patients have been acting unusually, other than herself, obviously. Well, there's Badixa, who relives a murder she committed more than 5 lifetimes ago. Idleman, who they say only has half a soul, and who was found collecting the faces of others. Because he believed his own to be a false one. Graham, he speaks in a language no one understands and wails at night sometimes. Different from their normal behavior, I mean? Well, yes, I suppose, but nothing they didn't volunteer for. Master Azo let us know that a number of patients in the North Ward had volunteered for new therapy. Oh, I thought she was a patient. She seems to be a doctor. Or staff. And would be escorted to his laboratory to receive treatment. The North Ward was our most troubled cases. I'm glad some of them have chosen to get help. It seems to me it's gotten quieter over there since it started. It's Graham I see them taking in the most. He struggles, but he's always was a bit of a wild one. So he didn't volunteer exactly then, apparently. Okay, what do you know about this Animancer Azo? Oh, I like him very much. Well, she's not going to tell us anything really useful then, is she? Many Animancers could care less about their patients. Look at us like vermin. Oh, she is a patient. For their experiments, but Master Azo treats us like humans, even the very sick. You can tell he does this to help people. He's helped me understand a great deal about myself, and I know he's done the same for others. It's too bad what they did to him. He hides it well, but I know he's still affected by it. Okay, what happened to him? Freyo's eyes dart back and forth, and her voice lowers to just above a whisper. They don't like to talk about it, but there was an accident. He was said to be one of the brightest in Direwood. That was his reputation here, and that was what brought me to seek treatment. People say it was ego that drove him to try and solve the legacy, but that's hogwash. Even if he was a bit of a showman, he loves his homeland. He thought he could help. He wasn't one to speak of his work. Suspected his colleagues might have tried to steal it, but he told me once that he had figured out a way to create a soul. Not a soul exactly, mind you. How did he put it? A proxy, I think he called it. Had some machine that drew energy out of the very ether. Can you imagine? The point is, it was going to help with the legacy. It was going to help make Hollowborn into something easier to love and care for. Gods know that's something we need. Do you know what they call those empty little babies in Andra's gift? No, tell me. They call them boys. Because so many of them are found floating face down in the water. These are mad times. Anyway, Master Azo had scheduled a public demonstration of his work in Copper Lane. He was so excited. And then the next day he was locked in his office, turning away visitors, I heard. And he stopped seeing patients. I don't know exactly what happened. And I don't have the heart to ask him, but I'm glad they're letting him treat people again. Do you know where I might find him? I think I've seen him around today. Have you checked the laboratory? It shares a wall with his office. He's been spending most of his time there lately. Why are you in here? behind her hair, her cheeks flush. I don't want to say, you'll think less of me. I'm listening. Some strange responses. These last few years haven't been kind to me. They haven't been kind to anyone, really. I try not to think of it as personal. I lost my husband and both boys in the Saints' War. My daughter, the legacy took her before she was ever mine. I made do. What else can you do? I moved into a tiny place in Andra's gift. Got my Minden clothes and on the kindness of strangers when I had to. But I was surviving and the gods were watching over me. I could live with that. Then one day this noble woman comes in, wants this fancy gown fixed. Gorgeous thing. This shade of blue I've never seen before. Only I had. I looked at it and it reminded me of something. I had what they called an awakening. I remembered being a noble woman myself in another life. People doting over me. Men doting over me. Me. The best food. The most beautiful home. All the things you'd never dare dream of. They were mine. It was poison knowing that. All those things I had that I'll never have in this life. It did something to me. My food started to taste rotten. The walls in my little room seemed to close in around me. I stopped being able to sleep in my own bed. So I came here. It was that or break into an estate and start ordering servants around. It seemed like such a silly thing to worry about. You don't have to tell me, but I can't get past it. And I start to wonder, did the gods choose this life for me? And if so, what terrible thing must I have done to deserve it? So let's pick number 2. Maybe you'll get there again one day, if not in this life, then in another. The strange part is, I think even the best wouldn't have been good enough for me anymore. I think it must have gotten to the point where I was that noble lady. Well, would I be able to visit the North Ward? Very abrupt subject change. They like to keep them separate. I don't know that I've ever seen the guards allow a visitor. Just Master Azo. You might ask him. He's very sympathetic. Okay, that was a very long dialogue. Let's save so we don't have to redo it. A flesh construct. Okay. You know these probably belong to that Master Azo. The construct turns its head toward you and watches warily. This would be the thing that abuts his... This should be where the laboratory would be. Here's the laboratory. Or laboratory, depending upon whence you hail. Okay.
I'll have it in no time. The work of a moment.
What is this? Never seen it before.
I'll have it in no time.
He needs one lockpick. Yes.
I'll have it in no time.
Bugger me. What the devil? Okay, so she generally also has her survival skills. Her survival skills are quite advanced, as you see. Let's bring her athletics up, however. Well, she doesn't need lore or mechanics, I wouldn't think. Well, let's give her some lore for shits and grins. Swift aim. The ranger gets into a speedy and fluid offensive rhythm, reducing accuracy but increasing firing rate. I'm an American as well, so y'all take this with a grain of salt. But you see our movies where they're shooting, they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. That's in essence what they're proposing doing with her. See, 50% damage against targets affected by a damage over time. Range attack bounce +1 times. That could be interesting. Instructs the ranger's animal companion to rush a target, knocking it prone. +15% +15 deflection against ranged attacks. -20% range attack speed, -20% reload speed, but +10% ranged accuracy and +20% ranged damage. Let's take the heal companion first.
Asmr_Mayu. Welcome to my channel.
Armor. Hi, Asmir. Welcome. You know, if you all subscribe to me, you'll get a notification for when I come online. Because I love having y'all here. I think even while you're working, that's okay. These have the same DR, same speed recovery, but this one, they're both fine. This one has, it halves the stun duration, it halves the knockdown duration. It doubles our defense while we're stunned and doubles our defense while we're prone. I say yes, please. Did I read that right? Yes. And then this mace. Okay. So this one gives you +4 accuracy when you're hitting the same target as an ally, which we frequently do. We fight with Adair. +25% damage when attacking the same target as an ally. Damaging 3. Not sure what that means. You get +40. I get maybe that. I don't know. Okay. But we get a +4 accuracy and +45% damage. Are they talking about attacking with 3? Like there's 3 of us attacking, or we're attacking 3 at once? Legend tells of a druid, wise and powerful, who traveled accompanied by a flock of ravens. In battle, the druid would assail his enemies with his mace, while the ravens descended in a chaotic swarm, distracting and flanking his foes. Years of coordinated attacks and the druid's lingering magic are said to have gifted his mace with an enchantment that lends the wielder similar gifts. The mace is finely wrought and lightweight, making it maneuverable, if not very resistant against direct attacks. Against a distracted opponent, however, a single blow often proves quite sufficient. The only really advantage that this thing had was converting grazes into hits. And restoring endurance. That's true. So let's set you to the side. Up. Now we can compare that with this one. The grazes to hits. Accuracy against spirits, +2 constitution, -3 will. So we're going to swap these 2 out, but we'll keep this in case we need it to fight the spirits. Fine leather armor. I think he's got robes. He's already got something nice, doesn't he? Well, this is in essence the same thing he already has on. It just looks nice. Oh, no, it's fine hide armor. Ooh, he has fine leather, and his is slightly better than, so let's stow it. Stow it, baby. Keep that on her. Okay. Let's go talk to this feller now. What y'all think? A round-faced, balding man turns to face you. His upper lip is pulled upward slightly by his pointed nose, exposing his upper teeth when he scowls.
What is the meaning of this?
I'd like to access the North Ward. Out of the question. Those patients are isolated for a reason. I've been given permission to conduct my investigations down there. You'd best cooperate.
My answer is no. Whatever you're looking for, those patients will not be able to help you. The head warden will stand by me on this.
And yet the head warden said you're not supposed to be doing experiments. Yes, well, Ethelmore hasn't done much good for anyone since he had his soul moved into an inanimate object, so I fail to see why I should let that sway me. If animancers all followed the commands of their leaders, where would we be? Oh, there's a sophist argument. We'd all be as backward and willfully ignorant as Rhaeadcerus. We would know nothing about life or death or even ourselves. We would be lost in the dark with no clue as to why. Probably because the lights are out. That's what usually... I never thought I'd find myself in agreement with a statue, but Ethelmore's right about this fellow at least. How easily ambition masquerades as prudence. I'll bet he's fooled even himself. It seems to me we're still in the dark.
Is that a reason to stop trying? Shall we remain in the dark until the end of time and have the last breath of the last person alive be breathed in ignorance? The gods want us to know.
Exaggeration.
The clues are all around us. In understanding these truths, we honor their creation.
Whale has touched this one. Heravius chirps from behind you before adding with a whisper, though I get the feeling he doesn't know it. He nods to Azo, touching his eye patch in salute. If we only studied the easy problems, we'd accomplish little and deserve even less. Who will solve Waden's legacy? Some church? Some warrior? It will be an animancer, or it will be no one at all. Have you tried your experiments on any other subjects? I have, yes. No point in lying about it. Now that Ethelmore is involved, I asked for volunteers from my patients, and a few brave souls came forward. I was very close at one time to a breakthrough. They understood that. They understood their sacrifices would mean something. I heard you were demoted. How did that happen? Azo's nostrils flare, and he bares his upper teeth more broadly. That's none of your concern. Did one of the others put you up to this? Audemir, that smug weasel. Things went wrong. Everything. I don't know how. I never know. I'll never know. He spits on the floor as if to remove a bitter taste from his mouth. It's the most uncouth thing I can think of that people do. It's your bodily fluids. Put it in the proper container or something. Okay. We need to get into the North Ward. And talk to some of those patients. Looks like an empty storeroom. Looks like an emptier storeroom. Same shit, different day. He told them he'd make them better. Having flashbacks of a different game.
You might find this interesting.
Just can't think what it is. We may have to go up top and talk to him again. The statue, that is to say, but let's see if there's anyone else with whom we can speak before we venture back up to the top again. Because I don't think we're going to get any more information out of that feller.
To whispers and shadows.
Yes?
I was expecting answers, but I'll take the money. Let's go back up and talk to the statue then. If that doesn't get us anywhere, we'll come back and talk to the lunatic. That is to say, the doctor. How he got to be a doctor, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah?
Of course.
Looks like there's a door there, but we don't see it. I see it, but our people don't see it. Isn't that disturbing when that happens? No. So, since these guys are clearly too brain dead to find their own way back. Ah, could be the closed doors. I should stop closing the doors. It's a bad habit. In some cases, I understand why I do it, because I don't want them to be caught stealing, but in most cases, it's really just a habit. You walk into a room, you close the door. I wasn't born in a barn. I was one of the first babies born in the maternity ward in our county. Back home in Kentucky.
Gods keep you.
Okay, that's not going to help. Was worth a try. Let's go talk to that lunatic again and see if we can talk to him about the experiments he's been doing. We saw your notes. That was what they sang that day. As they watched their enemies run away.
Well met, friend. Greetings.
There really is nothing else here to do. You suck.
What is it now?
Huh. I've seen your records. I know what you're
Those
doing
are
with them.
private. You have no right.
He balls up his fist and digs his teeth into his index finger, a growl simmering beneath his breath, and a deep scowl compressing his face.
Fine. Speak to them for all the good it'll do you. I'm sure the discussions will be fascinating.
Thank you, gods of gaming. pulls a heavy key from one of his pockets and nearly slams it down on the floor before handing it to you. Danke und verpiss dich. What a creep. Well, he's not evil per se. He's got a good goal, but let's just say his methods are a bit questionable, eh? Probably shouldn't let the lunatics out. Is this my face? Tell me. No, that's my face. The temptation is real. This man has the look in his eyes of a haunted animal, and at your approach he staggers backward to the far corner of his cell, halfway appearing as though he would climb the walls if it would get him farther away from you. He cries out a bizarre primal utterance like nothing you've ever heard. I need to ask you some questions. Graham looks at you blankly. It's unclear whether he understands you or not, but his panic has momentarily subsided. He opens his mouth to speak, but the words that come out are half-formed, as though his tongue were cut out. They're impossible for you to discern, if indeed they are words at all. The mutilations of animancy, crueler than any torture, to disfigure the soul. Let us return the favor to the animancers of this shit heap. Okay, Azo ran experiments on against your will, didn't he? He looks at you with uncertainty. Slowly, tentatively, he steps closer to the front of his cell. And as he does so, for the first time, you can perceive his soul within your ken. It is mishappen, as though maimed by some jagged instrument, and large expanses of it have been gouged out entirely. You feel no barriers of resistance. If you wanted to, you could look further into Graham's soul. I want to tell you an aside with the word ken, and of course the Scots use that word quite a lot. It's from really old English because it's German. The word German kennen means to be acquainted with. There's wissen, which means to know a fact, and kennen, which means to be acquainted with something. Just an aside. You project outward the maimed soul in front of you, out toward the maimed soul in front of you, merging with it. Its confusion and fear become yours as it whisks you into its depths. You're in your cell. A key turns. The door creaks open on neglected hinges. Thoughts come to you in waves, incomplete and broken, fearful. Standing at the door is a rotund, balding man. His upper teeth and pointy nose reminds you of a rat. He beckons apologetic. You don't want to go. Anything else. In your mind is a single word, and that word is no. But it dissolves before it reaches your lips. You press against the back wall, cornered. You cry out. In the darkness, you fight against unseen restraints. You cannot move your arms or legs. The man walks into the room carrying a lit candle, its meager flame casting long shadows across the books and machinery. Straps bind your arms and legs. Cold metal circumscribes the crown of your head and the breadth of your chest. The man is sorry. He is in need of raw materials. They dismantled his work and he needs another source. He needs to show them he was right. He thanks you. Then he turns a knob and you feel yourself begin to crack from within, and you feel pieces of you torn away, like having your insides chewed by a horde of rats, and you are screaming a scream you can barely hear. Another night. Heavy footsteps outside your door, coming for you. You look through the slit in your door, the flesh giant, the artificial being, just outside, but facing left, facing the end of the hall, the boy there. The boy looks with interest at the giant, then collapses to the floor, like shed snakeskin. The giant convulses for a moment, then rights itself, turns away, and leaves. So let's decouple from his soul. Graham looks at you, still wild-eyed, but somehow more present. He nods at you, then walks back to the end of his cell. Okay, we really need to put an end to that, don't we? The druid has leveled up. The druid also has good survival skills. Unfortunately, he has no athletic skills. We do need to fix that. Okay, that's what we'll do with him, and that's what we can do with him. So that boy who's in there, Grim. A willowy adolescent boy stands in the center of his cell, gawkish and stoop-shouldered. He stares straight ahead. The occasional blink, his only movement. Should be a comma there. And it is unclear whether he registers your presence at all behind his glassy, doll-like eyes. In this state, the barriers between your soul and his are thin and porous, easily bypassed if you should wish it. Let us reach out for his soul. You close your eyes and you edge forward toward the boy's soul. And as you near, a sudden malaise comes over you. You are cold and warm all at once, sweating and shivering, and straining for breath, as you did on the caravan journey. The soul you approach is the wrong one. A parasitic plant that strangles its host. It is predatory and pitiless, and you have crossed paths with it before. Too late does it occur to you to retract, and already you feel yourself plunging into some interminable abyss of thought and memory. You are standing in a cell now, the same cell, in the sanitarium. The halls are moonlit and empty, and you are waiting. At the far end of the ward, the door opens, revealing a flesh golem in silhouette beneath the stone archway. It makes its usual rounds, the same stops every time. The misbegotten child of despondent creators. When the construct is close, you coil yourself up and spring forward, passing out of the boy's body as though it were a membrane. You can sense his body behind you collapsing to the floor, a puppet whose strings were cut. You are rushing forward. You are rushing toward the golem now, bodiless as a gust of wind. Quickly, you think to yourself, quickly, and you feel the strength hemorrhaging from your soul as you dart toward the makeshift abomination. You pass into the golem's shell and overtake the soul implanted within, encircling it, suppressing it, and containing it. In this new vessel you are strong again. You step heavy-footed down the corridors, unheeded by the other constructs, and scrutinized only by the wary, untrustworthy eyes of the mad, coming at last to an office piled with books and scribbled papers, and the perverse instruments of animancy. You set your oversized hands upon a large machine, a nest of globes and tubes and coils in the center of the room, and go to work, bending wires and unsettling alignments. Your surroundings are pulled past you, and perhaps you are pulled past them, and they dissolve into a blur. When they settle into place again, you are outside on a clear day, standing in front of a crowd stacked high above you on the tiered seats of an amphitheater. You are acting for the crowd, standing deliberately still, but this is no play. A balding man with rodent-like features is strapping you to a machine, the one you had tampered with. You see your arms for the first time, short and fleshy, unmistakably those of a little girl, but this body is not truly yours. Your mind still holds the same determination, the same hard-heartedness as before. The body itself is cold and vacuous. Unlike the others, this one has no soul of its own. It's a hollowborn. The man speaks and the crowd applauds with an enthusiasm worthy of a hero's entrance. "Bear witness," he says, and he pulls a lever. The machine shivers and sparks, and a bead of sweat rolls down the side of the man's brow, but the crowd's apprehension quickly gives way to awe as a crystal globe fills with a radiant mist that casts the entire theater aglow. He opens a valve, and the glow crawls through a tube along the length of a copper wiring that runs to a set of electrodes beneath your armpits. You feel nothing when it reaches you, as it should be, for you have been leading his work astray periodically for some time, altering notes and settings and playing puppeteer for Hollowborn. But you make it look how people would expect it to look when a body is infused with a soul. In a moment, the machine goes dark, and the man unstraps you, eyeing you with a scientist's concern. He looks back up at the crowd. "Behold," he says, but there is obvious hesitation in his voice. Slowly, you take a plodding step forward, then another, then another. You look up at the man, giving him the eye contact of which no Hollowborn is capable, and the crowd gasps. The man looks relieved. "How do you feel?" he asks at a volume meant for the crowd. And this is the moment. At the top of your lungs, you let out a piercing shriek. The man comes towards you, his arms outstretched, but you run the other way, back to the machine. With all your strength, you drive your head into the crystal globe, and it shatters, streaking your head with warm blood. You drive your head down into the surface of the machine again and again, drawing panicked screams from the crowd. And by the time the man reaches you, your body has already ceased proper function and merely twitches on the cold ground. Satisfied, you depart the corpse in search of another unsuspecting host. Who could put their faith in animancy now? You are pulled again from your surroundings, transcending the boundaries of memories and lifetimes, deeper and deeper, past betrayals and murders and lies upon lies that form a thick web of plots beyond mortal comprehension. You settle at last on a room you have seen before, expansive, with the tall device encasing an Adra monolith at its center. The room is filled with people, and the people all look at the device. You are yanked suddenly back to reality, and the once catatonic boy in the cell is looking directly at you, appraising, calculating. Well, there is no mistaking now that it is the soul of Thaos X Arcanon, the man you've been searching for, that gazes out from the burrowed husk. "A watcher," he says. How about we pick number 2? It says, "I believe we share a common past." And I'm just looking for some answers. Is that so? He makes no effort to hide his disinterest, but he continues to search your eyes. He makes a slight grunting noise, and his eyes soften for an instant, and it seems for that moment that he recognizes you. He opens his mouth to speak, then seems to think better of it, of what he was about to say. His jaw tightens. I know your look, your hunger for answers that elude you. It gnaws at your soul. It usurps your reason for being. You are like everyone. I will help you let go. He dodges backward with a startling grace, putting himself out of reach. On his face there is no malice, only the dispassion of a farmer putting down a sick animal. Then suddenly, he slumps forward. I thought there was a naughty fight back here. Let's hope that doesn't backfire. Whoa, some nice new spells. Summons a jagged rock to stab upward from the ground, dealing piercing damage to targets and knocking them prone. Boiling spray. Everyone in the cone. Everyone in the cone always sounds very scary for me. Calls down a savage storm of sleet and ice chunks, causing crush and freeze damage to any in the area of effect. That gives us endurance back. Conjures a rolling wave of water that plows through everything in its path. Form of a Delamgon. Does it look like that on your screen too? It does. Oh, good God, that's making me sick. Something about wooden skin. Ugh. Lord have mercy. Let's do spreading the plague first.
Hey.
He's immune to the knockdown, presumably, but it does damage. If I do this, oh, I can select the area. That's quite excellent. And this will, as far as 5 missiles of pure force at the target, causing a shockwave of crush damage. I think we're going to have to fight every single thing in our path as we leave this place. There are only 2 constructs here. Do you see that? There were 3 that he went through. Everyone else is a patient. Devilish sheep running around back there. Damn dog is already gone again. Okay, so I say we fix it. Focus our efforts there. You just concentrate on him since you can't get out apparently. Can I get sentinel targets for the maggots? The answer to that is Yine. Yine is a German concept. It's yes and no at the same time, by the way. Presumably our... No. Why the hell was that thing green? Taxes have been collected. 36 lost to bandits. We're doing pretty good with the taxes there, aren't we? OT. We need something that's going to have a wider area of effect. This is not going to be it. This is also not it, but see if we can grab those two with that. She's like blank at the moment. Oh, there are three. Because we've destroyed one. And, well, now we see that there are actually two. Leave him around over here by the... Okay. I was going to say by the tentacles, but by the bowls works for me too. That's interesting. That was somebody else, not our druid. I wondered why it was red. Okay, you darling. Heal yourself. He had not shape changed yet. That was the thing. Well, that's probably overkill. Let's have him just hit it.
What? Let's burn this away!
They were clearly higher level than when I did this last time because this was an horrendous fight last time. Sure, we have that. Chest selected. Wah. I mean, that was pretty wicked, but it was much worse last time. So there won't be any patients getting out anymore, and we are gonna have to fight our way out.
Leave it to me! Leave it! Varanthus! Varanthus!
Need something? Die already!
If it makes you rest easier.
Hey, you're not getting through.
Would make me rest easier if everyone would fight. So we just get this fight over with. I mean, these are not exactly challenging fights, right? So now we're gonna have to fight ourselves. By the way, it was really sweet. There was this really cool guy in my stream this morning who, when I was done streaming, he thanked me for the adventure. I thought that was really cool.
All right then.
From the frying pan into the fire, there were quite a few patients in this room. And they've all turned to wicks. He did that very quickly, didn't he? He made very short order of these people. No remains. That is so us. That's that chick we were talking to, isn't it? That we couldn't decide if it was a patient or a doctor.
You're not getting through me.
Okay. Wow, she had money on her. Seems a bit unlikely for a patient, but what the hell do I know, right? Oh, should we go check on the doctor? That was quite naughty what that thing did to him. You've been experimenting on patients against their wills, mangling their souls. I have witnesses to it with my own eyes. His face drains of what little color it had. How could you possibly... Look, it had to be done. Ethel Moore and the others, they took everything from me. Everything. When I was this close, I had to know. Had to know where I failed and why. Now, we can tell you that. Imagine that. Imagine the value if I'd succeeded. I had something that could make all the hollow infants into something like a real person. And with a few more patrons and a few more years' research, who knows? No one has come that close with the legacy. It's why I have to continue. Why I have to risk everything here, working in secret. It's why you have to lie to Ethelmore for me. Tell him you've cleared me of all suspicion. We know that he's been tricked, that his research may have legitimately solved the problem. May have. And that it was purposefully sabotaged. We are not a good party. We are not an evil party. We are a neutral party. Let's take number 2. If it means a chance at stopping the legacy, then you have my silence.
Good.
That seems neutral enough.
Then we have an understanding. I promise you I won't waste this opportunity.
Excellent. The same fools responsible for the cruel salvation thought they'd solved the problem too. A few years of study and research and a research lab doesn't give someone the moral authority to tinker with souls. I'd like to know what he had actually found out before he was sabotaged. He may have genuinely found something. And we don't know. And we won't know if we just decide to kill him. Or if we even expose him. I think in this case, if I were playing a different party, you know, I would kill him. Or I would go to the head scientist. He would, you know. But in this case, I really do think he's right. Or she or it. They are right. So, let's go upstairs. So now we've turned your madhouse into a madhouse. I apologize. Oops. Oh. What the blazes happened down there? You were given permission to ask questions. I had things under control until I killed the lead and key spy, at which point he possessed a flesh construct. You finish your explanation. Ethelmore breaks his silence. I have read accounts of people in history who could do what you described. The accounts are few and brief, and never reliable. Some go as far as to suggest that they are all the same person. If truly such a person were here among us plotting our ruin, would that I had a body again and could be of some real use in our time of need. I fear what the future may hold for this place. I'm grateful you were able to dispatch the threat before there was loss of innocent life. Yeah, well, there was loss of innocent life, but we very nearly had another scandal on our hands. What of Azo? What part did his experiments play in this catastrophe? So let's pick number one, that he was trying to help the patients and the Leaden Key took advantage of him. And that's true. They sabotaged his research. I should have known better than to isolate him. Of course, he would resort to deception. The wiser thing would be to allow his experiments with close oversight, of course. A mind like his must be allowed the chance to create. Problem solved. And it really is, I don't feel that it's fair to hold the whole affair against him because he was unwittingly sabotaged. I think, however, we might benefit from talking to Lady Webb. And then I think we're going to end our stream for this evening. It's getting quite late. Sagamore, jeśli nie ma ganz dziś, to dla was. I'm sure you guys are interested what that means. You know the head gasket on the engine, how it's sealed? The dicht is when something is sealed. Okay, so things can't leak in and it can't leak out. And it's asking if you yourself are properly sealed. Sag mal, bist du noch ganz dicht oder was? And I was asking if I myself am still properly sealed. Bin ich nicht mehr ganz dicht? Am I not sealed anymore? It's considered to be quite rude in German. I didn't know that when I first moved here, because in the West where I lived, they said that all the time to each other. Sag mal, bist du nicht mehr ganz dicht oder was? And I came here and someone finally told me after a few years that it's rude. There's something I can tell you about the Lead Key's operations.
Well, let's hear it.
I found Thaos in Brackenbury's sanitarium impersonating a patient. He was trying to damage the public's opinion of animates.
Forgive me. It is unlike Thaos to leave witnesses. He must be furious.
He was pretty pissed.
He did not aid you as you'd hoped, I take it? Well, take heart. With any luck, when he has finished his business, he will surely come and find you again, if only to kill you while you sleep.
Oh, I feel so much better now, thank you.
This news of yours makes sense, of course. To dabble in animancy is to puzzle over the secrets of the gods. This would not be the Leaden Key's first action against it. But if this is connected to their other activities,
Byron,
we may be in for something
welcome to
on
my
a
channel.
much larger scale.
Hi.
That isn't enough to take to the Duke, but we're close. Avar Wolfgren is a cautious man. He will want to know everything possible before being moved to action.
Understandably. After all, he has a position to uphold. Let's be rude and ask her number 2. How do I know you
Because
seek
you have
him?
seen his face, and that makes it a simple matter for me to see it. You even happened to catch him in his ceremonial garb, it seems. Must have been a special occasion.
So there that is. Yeah, she's going to prove to be a very useful ally. I remember what happens with her in the end, which kind of makes me a little bit sad. So is the feller we were speaking to, where was he at? He was up here somewhere, wasn't he? Do you think he'll speak to us now? Was he in here, that feller? With the Crispal Knights. That's what I'm looking for. Apparently very futilely. Where did we meet him at? Do y'all remember? Well, now bugger me. I thought we met him here. Okay. It's not actually an offer, by the way. Just sounds like one. Could he have been? Here he is. Do you think he'll talk to me now?
Well met.
Hollowborn, growing unrest, and the ever-present political intrigues with so many missing souls, missing persons, are the least of our concerns these days. What brings you to Dunride Row? I was invited by Lady Webb. Ooh, cocks his head to one side as if trying to get a better look at you. Forgive me, she doesn't take many visitors, but the ones she does invite are a fascinating lot. I've always marveled at her choices. Nothing in common to my eyes, but her sight is far keener than mine. I wonder what it is she sees. Her room's upstairs, the one with guards out front. The city may not understand her value, but the Duke certainly does. Okay, so, looks as though you could use some help. So many secrets and trails in this city. You have to but turn a corner to find a fresh trace of something stolen or someone missing. He flicks an ear. Unfortunately, we haven't the time to investigate all of them. I'm supposed to be working on other matters, but my mind still lingers on a few recent cases. Curse of a cipher, to be ruled by the whims of curiosity. Okay, what are these cases? One case or three, depending on how you look at it. He taps his clawed fingers together. 3 weeks and a disappearance at the end of each. Some might call it coincidence. I call it a clue. Lady Webb knows you, trusts you. So I shall trust you too, so long as our interests are aligned. Okay, we can look into it for you. Where do I start? Sagani bounces on the balls of her feet, just like one of those Valian whodunits. Read a few of those on the road, helps pass the time. He grins, razor-tipped teeth showing between his lips. Copper Lane, Andra's gift, and Brackenbury, of course, to talk to the ones who reported the disappearances, the only ones who know enough to care.
Tree Mosier.
Laura.
Welcome to my channel.
Hi. Oli and Elga. Okay, who's missing? 2 men, 1 woman, Landry, Kendall, and Cora. Thankfully, they write these in your journal for you. Tell me about Landry. I'm getting background information here. We have to have a stoic of 3. Apparently we do. Best to ask Oli. Seems they drank together at the salty mast on Andra's gift. Also seems that no one else knew him well enough to miss him. One of his ears twitches. Like you, he is a quiet soul. Prying his tongue loose may require effort or drink. Okay, tell me about Kendall. Reported missing by Elga, a dwarf who carries traces of... He closes his eyes and sniffs the air. Fine wine and young dandies. Plenty of time and money to spend on her pleasures. Try Brackenbury. Tell me about Cora. Sister of Laura, one of the merchants in the Copper Lane Bazaar. Not the kind of person who would just disappear, it seems. Did you find any leads? Not yet. No obvious connection between the victims, which is what makes me wonder so. He runs his hand along the length of one ear. Could be animancy related. Researchers always need subjects, the less scrupulous types in particular. He pauses, deep in concentration. Seems too risky for the sanitarium, but one never knows. Aloth folds his arms. I wouldn't put it past them. He waves his hand. Talk first to the people who reported our victims missing. Mayhap you will catch something I missed. Okay. I'll let you know. And chisel. So we don't want to have to... Oops. We don't want to have to do that again. Let's find the chicken brackenberry then. We're going to investigate this just a little bit this evening before we end the stream. We did find Lady Webb. We did meet Lady Webb. We have Lady Webb's patronage. I think she will prove an excellent ally. Did he tell us where? This is the problem, is trying to find. Oh, here it is. Okay, so she spends her time in Brackenbury. Thank you very much. Not particularly helpful. So we shall start with the public house. Ah, there she is. Of the devil gespoken. This dwarven woman is dressed and perfumed like a member of the nobility, but her sun-reddened skin and sweat-stained outfit suggest that she's been out here for quite some time. Afraid I don't have any time just now. I'm investigating Kendall's disappearance. Her eyebrows rise. That little Orland finally got serious about this case, eh? Okay, let's be diplomatic about this. Dunride Row is strapped for resources at the moment, so Kurren sent me. Well, I'm glad somebody's on it. She rolls her eyes. Anyway, I'll tell you whatever I can. What do you need to know? When and where did you last speak to him? A week ago. He came back to my house for a bit of fun. Afterward, we fell asleep, and when I woke up, he was gone. No note, nothing. Well, now, was that normal? I guess not. What was he doing before he disappeared? Well, obviously he was having sex with her and then sleeping. The worst blazing rendition of the general's speech from The Widow of the Wood that I've ever heard. She shakes her head. I love that fellow, but he was a tragic failure. Yet somehow he managed to get in with an acting troupe. We met that troupe already, didn't we? Tell me about him. What's to tell? He's a pretty young lad, not the brightest of the bunch. I always say not the brightest bulb in the batch, but always pleasant company. How do you know Kendall? We met up from time to time over the past few months. It was just a fling, really. Wasn't going to last. She picks at the corner of her sleeve and looks away. He was a little fool, a sweet little fool. So number 5, had you noticed anything different about him lately? He'd started hanging out with a bunch of actors. Seemed all right, except for that woman.
Said. 2 viewers, +1, alarm clock 2 hours 27 minutes and 52 seconds.
She scowls. That woman with her long willowy legs and slender arms always came around wearing those low-cut dresses and impossible shoes. What was her name? Her expression hardens. I don't know. Never cared to learn it. She uncrosses her arms and lets him slowly fall to her sides. I didn't realize it might be important. Well, now that's all I have to ask then. If you think of any more, well, you'll know where I'll be. Okay, so we just barely got started, but we'll go ahead and end the stream. That's really getting tired, and we've already been at it for 2.5 hours. Okay, so this is the deal. We will stream again tomorrow evening. This game, that is to say. Just a second. After Heritage Hill. Delete. After, how long can we make these? After turning the mad house into a mad house. Well, that all fits. So we will stream this again tomorrow evening. I hope you all will join me. Do remember that Fridays is a long stream because I don't have to get up Saturday morning. And actually, well, tomorrow's a holiday here, but I stream for you tomorrow morning, so I still have to get up early. I hope you will join me again tomorrow morning if you can make it. When I say morning, I'm talking about Central European time, which means Paris, Berlin, Prague, Copenhagen. Okay? If you look at my Twitch schedule, it's posted, and you can see it in your time zone when you look in there. Basically, they're offset by almost 12 hours from each other. In the mornings, Central European time, we stream Baldur's Gate 2, Evil Party. Having fun with that. We're going to be going to Trade Meet tomorrow to do the quests there, and after that we will move on to Chapter 4, where we will finally go to Spellhold. I have outlined everything we're going to be doing in there in the stream that I posted this morning in both Twitch and YouTube. I will double check that it's because I posted Chapter 4, what it will be. Chapter 5 is 4 is Spellhold, 5 is the Underdark, 6 is fighting Bodhi, and 7 is going into I believe it's the 8th plane of hell. I kept thinking it was Chapter 4, it's Chapter 7. Join me for that tomorrow morning. Tomorrow evening we will be streaming this again, and we will be picking up where we left off. Go ahead and do these investigations. There is a lot of game content in both of these games. Because as I said, with Baldur's Gate, we've still got at least one day, maybe two, before we move on to Chapter 4. Y'all join me. We're going to have some fun. Okay? Take care of yourselves. I thank you so much for coming and sitting with me. If you like my content, my rabbit ears, my pretty smile, my weird sense of humor, follow me. Turn on the notifications. You'll see when I'm on stream, and y'all can come sit and join me. Take care, and I will see you when I see you.